Hello, Cule family. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to know everything about Barcelona. In this video, we are going to talk about the details of a huge bombshell at Barcelona. But first, we need to address other very important topics for our beloved club. Let's start with the first one. Barcelona has been clear, direct, and firm in its stance regarding the future of Ferran Torres. If any club wants to secure the services of the forward, they will have to put an offer on the table that reaches at least 50 million euros. No discounts, hidden loans, or favorable deals for third parties will be accepted. The club values what it has, and Ferran Torres, after his notable evolution this season, has shown that he deserves to be considered a top-tier asset both in sports and economic terms. What seemed like an investment for the future has become, thanks to his work and perseverance, a tangible reality. A winning card that Hansi Flick has known how to use intelligently in his offensive scheme this season. It has undoubtedly been the best season since Ferran arrived at Barcelona from Manchester City. Away from the media spotlight and superficial analyses, the player has worked silently to improve all aspects of his game. The result is undeniable. 19 goals and 7 assists in 45 matches, a statistic that speaks for itself. But beyond the numbers, what is truly relevant is his impact on the field, his ability to appear in key moments, and his commitment to the team's project. Ferran is not just a scorer. He is a complete player who understands the game, knows how to move between the lines, stretches rival defenses, and brings constant intensity in high pressing. His ability to adapt to different positions in the attack has been an invaluable resource for Hansi Flick, who has trusted him as a tactical piece to overflow on the wings, break lines at speed, or pin down central defenders from a more central position. This versatility is not a minor detail in modern football. Players capable of performing in various offensive roles without lowering their performance are true gems, and Ferran has shown he is in that category. The market value that the club has assigned to him, 50 million euros, is not an arbitrary or inflated figure. It reflects a solid season, increasingly evident football maturity, and a context in which clubs seeking talent can no longer afford to sign without paying the fair price. And it is that selling Ferran for less would simply be giving away a player who has shown he is ready to compete at the highest level and still has room for improvement. The club, aware of the financial situation it is going through, understands that making money may be necessary, but not at any price. The board believes that Ferran could take on the role of a luxury substitute, a rotational player capable of revolutionizing games from the bench or taking on occasional starts in the demanding schedule ahead. But many Cules wonder, doesn't he already deserve a more important role? Hasn't he shown that he can fight for a place in the starting 11 with full rights? These questions open an interesting debate on how the real performance of footballers is valued internally against the established names who often have privileges in the starting team due to history or marketing. Coach Hansi Flick has been key in Ferran's revitalization. His methodology, based on intensity, tactical discipline, and ball protagonism, has enhanced the forward in all his dimensions. Flick has managed to recover a player who seemed to have lost the confidence of part of the fanbase and has turned him into one of the team's most regular attackers. The change is not only physical or technical but also mental. Ferran has regained his smile. He is seen enjoying himself on the field, seeking the ball, facing, and shooting decisively. He is comfortable, integrated, and motivated, and when a player is in that state, he usually performs above his average. But now comes the summer, and with it, the speculations. Some media already link Ferran with Premier League clubs, where he still has a good reputation. There is also talk of interest from Italy and Germany, although no formal offer has reached the club's offices. What has transpired is that the player is not forcing his exit. He has a contract until 2027, and as long as a proposal that convinces him both sportingly and economically does not appear, his intention is to continue wearing Barcelona's colors. And this is where we throw the question to all Cules. Should the club sell Ferran if an offer of 50 million or more arrives? Is that amount enough to justify the departure of a player at his best? Wouldn't we be losing a piece that can continue to grow under Flick's orders and has already shown to be decisive? It must be taken into account that selling now can generate immediate income, yes, but it also carries a sporting risk. It is not easy to find in the market an attacker with Ferran's characteristics, his experience in major leagues, and his understanding of Barcelona's style, and even less at an affordable price. Betting on keeping him would be consolidating a more complete squad, with more variance and more reaction capacity from the bench. It would also be rewarding effort, resilience, and constant improvement, values that are part of the club's identity. From a strictly sporting point of view, keeping Ferran would be a coherent decision. He has shown that he can be decisive, has responded in key moments, and has fit perfectly into the coach's game idea. His relationship with the locker room is good, his attitude is professional, and his adaptation to the city and the club is more than consolidated. Why, then, rush his departure? Of course, there is another perspective. If the club manages to sell for 50 million, it could reinvest part of that money to strengthen other areas of the field or alleviate some of the economic pressure it still drags. This is a variable that also weighs and cannot be ignored. But even in that scenario, the key will be to negotiate from a position of strength. Not to give away, not to accept discounts, not to repeat past mistakes. Ferran Torres' situation represents one of those dilemmas that often mark the course of a summer. Do we build on what works or do we seek short-term liquidity? Do we prioritize sporting stability or economic need? Hansi Flick has a say in the sporting aspect, but it will be the sporting director who will have to make the final decision, always taking into account the balance between the club's needs and the demands of the sporting project. So, Kules, the word is also yours. What do you think? Should Ferran stay at Barcelona as part of a competitive and deep team, or has the time come to make money and look for new options in the market? The debate is served, and Ferran's future is more open than ever. The second piece of news concerns an important decision at the club. The transfer market has started to heat up, and as every summer, the big names in European football begin to be associated with the main clubs on the continent. However, not all rumors carry the same weight, and not all protagonists generate the same enthusiasm. This time, one of those names that stands out from the crowd is Serhou Guirassy, a forward who has made a name for himself among the elite of German football and now has several European giants knocking on his door. But among all of them, there is one that shines strongly on his horizon: Barcelona. Serhou Guirassy, current player of Borussia Dortmund and one of the great scorers of the Bundesliga, has clearly expressed his preference for the future. Despite the manifest interest of Paris Saint-Germain, which has made the Guinean striker an absolute priority in its project for next season, the player's desire is different. He wants to play for Barcelona. In a context where many footballers are seduced by stratospheric figures and empty promises, Guirassy has shown that there is still room for those who choose with their heart, with football ambition, and with respect for history. Luis Enrique, coach of PSG, is clear. He wants Guirassy as the axis of his new offensive scheme. He values his physical power, his ability to play with his back to goal, his intelligence to move between the lines, and, above all, his goal-scoring instinct. It is no coincidence that the Guinean has been one of the top scorers in the German Championship, demonstrating enviable regularity and a ruthlessness in the area that places him among the most lethal strikers in the European panorama. However, neither the interest of the Spanish coach nor the financial capacity of the Parisian team seem sufficient to make him change his mind. Because Guirassy is not looking for just money. He is looking to belong to a club with a soul, with history, with a defined style of play, and with an identity that goes beyond results. And today, only Barcelona offers him that. The Guinean striker knows perfectly well what it means to wear the Blaugrana jersey, to play in a stadium like the Camp Nou, and to be part of an institution that has marked the history of football with golden letters. He wants to be part of that story, to leave his mark from Barcelona. The information indicates that Joan Laporta and the sports management, aware of the player's interest, are closely following his situation. Nevertheless, they have also made it clear that his incorporation is subject to a key factor: the departure of Robert Lewandowski. The veteran Polish striker still has a contract, and if he continues, there will be no place in the squad or in the salary budget for Guirassy. Laporta has presented it clearly. No movement will be made that compromises the club's financial balance. But if Lewandowski leaves, the Guinean will be one of the best-positioned options to take his place. And this is where the Barcelona fanbase must begin to reflect. What can Guirassy bring to the new Barcelona that Hansi Flick is building? Is he the ideal profile to take on the role of the starting striker in a team that aspires to regain its place among the great teams in Europe? At first glance, the answers seem to lean towards a resounding yes. Because Guirassy is not just a scorer. He is a leader, a player with personality, with a competitive character who does not shrink in big games and who knows what it means to carry the offensive responsibility of his team. His performance in Germany has been a constant of improvement. Guirassy has evolved year after year, polishing his technique, improving his off-the-ball game, and developing a reading of the game that makes him a complete attacker. He is not the typical number 9 who lives only in the area. He knows how to come out, combine, press, unmark, and serve as support for his teammates. In a system like the one proposed by Flick, which demands mobility, pressing after losing the ball, and constant association, Guirassy fits like a glove. Moreover, his attitude off the field is also noteworthy. He is not a conflictive player. He does not generate noise in the locker room and has always been characterized by his professionalism and commitment to the team, values that fit perfectly with the new philosophy that is trying to be instilled in Barcelona's locker room, a united group, ambitious, and willing to sacrifice for the collective good. But beyond the football qualities, what excites the most about the Guirassy case is his explicit desire to play for Barcelona. In times where many players prioritize the economic, finding footballers who put the sports project, history, and feeling for a badge first is not something minor. Guirassy has had more lucrative offers, but his priority is Barcelona. His dream is to play at the Camp Nou, score goals in front of a devoted crowd, and fight for titles with the Barcelona crest on his chest. And isn't this the type of player we want on our team? Footballers who want to be here not because they are paid more, but because they understand what it means to be part of Barcelona. Shouldn't we bet on those who feel the club even before arriving? Guirassy has shown respect, patience, and commitment from the first moment. He has not forced any situation, has not made any polemical statements, but his message has been clear. If Barcelona calls, he will come without hesitation. Laporta, as a good strategist, knows that every step must be measured. But if the departure of Lewandowski finally happens, there should be no doubt about the direction to take. Signing Guirassy would be an intelligent move, both from a sporting and symbolic point of view. Because, in addition to strengthening the team with a guaranteed striker, it would send a clear message to the football world. Barcelona remains a desired club, a global reference, a place where the best want to be. In a summer marked by millionaire movements, artificial signings, and crossed interests, Guirassy's story reminds us that there is still room for romance in football. That there are still players who choose with their heart, that dreams are worth more than any figure. And his is clear, he wants to be a Cule. So, from here, we throw the question to all the supporters. What do you think, Cules? Would you like to see Serhou Guirassy leading the Barcelona attack? Do you think he is the right replacement for a new era under the command of Hansi Flick? Would you bet on his arrival if the departure of the current striker happens? The future is at stake, and the decision is not easy. But if there is something that distinguishes Barcelona from the others, it is its ability to make decisions from identity, from values, and from a long-term vision. And without a doubt, Guirassy embodies all of that. May a player who wants to leave his mark in our history, who seeks not just fame but transcendence, come. Because here, in this club, goals are celebrated, but what really remains is the legacy. And Guirassy, is he ready to build his own? Visca el Barça, and may the Blaugrana people speak. The third piece of news concerns a major transfer approaching Barcelona. The Blaugrana machine doesn't stop for a moment, especially now that the new project under the direction of Hansi Flick has started with strength, clarity of ideas, and overflowing ambition. After weeks of silent planning, tactical analysis, and joint work between the sports management and the technical staff, Barcelona has finalized a key operation to strengthen its defensive line for the upcoming season. According to information from Germany, Bayern Leverkusen has accepted an offer of €40 million from Barcelona for the young Ecuadorian defender Piero Hincapié. This is a high-profile addition in response to the departure of an important central defender from the squad and the doubts surrounding the future of another. The operation, which had been in preparation for weeks with the club's usual discretion, was a priority for Hansi Flick, who personally requested the arrival of a defender with Hincapié's profile: young, fast, technical, with physical strength, and capable of adapting to different defensive systems. Flick, who is very familiar with German football, had closely followed the Ecuadorian's evolution in the Bundesliga and did not hesitate to identify him as a key piece to reinforce an area of the field he considers vital in his game plan. At 21 years old, Piero Hincapié has earned a place among the most promising defenders in European football. His journey at Bayern Leverkusen has been a demonstration of maturity, tactical intelligence, and competitive commitment. He is not just a central defender with a physical presence, but a player who understands the game, knows when to anticipate, when to delay, and who does not hesitate to play out from the back with criteria and security. Precisely, this profile perfectly matches Barcelona's football identity, where clean ball exit, game tempo control, and high pressing are non-negotiable principles. The agreement between the two entities provides for the player to join the Blaugrana discipline once the current season is over. For now, Piero is focused on positively concluding his time in Germany, but he has already expressed to his entourage his enthusiasm for making the leap to one of the greatest clubs in the world. His arrival represents not only a top-level sports reinforcement but also a clear message from Barcelona to the market. This new cycle will not be built on empty promises, but on proven talent, ambitious youth, and intelligent sports decisions. In Ecuador, the news has sparked a wave of enthusiasm that has quickly been reflected in the country's main media. For Ecuadorian football, which is experiencing a sweet moment with the emergence of a new generation of talents, Hincapié's arrival at Barcelona represents recognition of a job well done. Newspapers and television channels in the South American country have described the agreement as a monumental leap in the career of a footballer who, despite his young age, has already played high-stakes matches both at the club level and with his national team. And it's no coincidence. In recent years, Piero has faced some of the best forwards in the world and has come out victorious on more than one occasion. His time in the Bundesliga has not been a fleeting adventure but a consolidation. His ability to read the game, his timing in duels, his solidity in one-on-one situations, and his composure in building from the back have made him one of the most reliable central defenders in the German league. These qualities have not gone unnoticed in Barcelona's offices, where they value not only the players present but also his enormous potential for growth under the guidance of a coach like Flick. The operation, concluded for a sum close to €40 million, is also a demonstration of financial responsibility in an inflated market where many clubs pay exorbitant amounts for players with less track record. Barcelona has acted intelligently by getting ahead of the competition and finalizing a strategic incorporation without falling into excesses. The quality-price ratio of Hincapié makes him one of the best deals in the market, and his potential positions him as a possible reference for Barcelona's defense for the next decade. The versatility of the Ecuadorian cannot be overlooked either. Although his natural position is that of a left-footed central defender, he can also act as a left-back if needed. This versatility is pure gold for any coach, especially in a squad that must face multiple competitions and adapt to different tactical contexts. In this sense, Flick gains a piece that offers him immediate solutions and depth on the bench, something fundamental for a project that aims high. The Cule supporters, who had been demanding reinforcements in the defensive line, have received the news with enthusiasm and hope. The general feeling is that the club is moving well in the market, betting on players who can make a difference without mortgaging the economic future of the entity. Hincapié's arrival is seen as a firm step towards the consolidation of a solid, dynamic defense with a future projection. But beyond the technical and financial analysis, there is something that particularly excites those who feel these colors: the player's desire to wear this jersey. In a context where many footballers prioritize money or fame over the sports project, Piero Hincapié has shown to have clear ideas. Despite receiving other offers, some economically more lucrative, the young defender has stated that his priority has always been to join Barcelona. His ambition is to grow alongside the best, to compete in a demanding environment, and to earn the affection of a fan base that values commitment and dedication above all else. It is evident that his arrival also responds to a future vision. With a starting central defender already out of the project and with some uncertainties regarding the continuity of another, Barcelona's defense needed renovation. But this could not be done with just any name. It had to be someone who combines youth and experience, talent and attitude, ambition and humility. Piero Hincapié embodies all these values. He is a self-made footballer who has overcome barriers, fought from the bottom, and now has the opportunity to make the big leap. It is a decision that responds to a clear strategy and is in tune with the spirit of a club that never renounces its principles. Because here, it's not just about winning, it's about doing it with style, with identity, with players who understand what it means to defend this crest. And now, the word is with the fan base. What do you think of this incorporation? Are you excited about the arrival of Piero Hincapié? Do you think he can become a reference in our defense? Do you think Flick was right to prioritize his signing over other options? We want to read you, hear your opinion, share this enthusiasm that is already being felt in the county city. Leave us your opinion in the comments.